Welcome everybody to my home. I'm Chef Rob. Usually we meet in the libraries, but today it's in my home. We're going to do a virtual cooking class. Some of you may have made the Irish soda bread muffins, but many didn't get the chance to this year. So here we go. Let's make some Irish soda bread muffins. So the first step is going to get some flour. When you're measuring the flour, always make sure you have something to level it out and make it nice and smooth. One of the tricks I like to do is kind of overfill my measuring cup, okay, and then take it and go along the plastic of it, okay, or the metal, whatever you may be using. Make sure it's nice and smooth, okay. This is going to get 2 cups of the all-purpose flour, okay, just like that. Flour will typically last from a year to 2 years as long as it's kept in a cool, dry place. Okay. Going to move along onto the sugar. The sugar, when you store it, you don't want to have it next to onions or garlic because it will absorb the taste of that. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to overfill the sugar and just shake it to the right amount where it's nice and level. Okay, when you do this, when you put in sugar in baking recipes, put the full amount. A lot of people are cutting back on sugar, trying to, okay, but what you really want to do is add everything because it does create the moisture and the texture of the muffin, the bread, the cookie, whatever you may be making. Okay, so we're going to put that right in here. Going to move right over to some baking powder. Baking powder will make it rise. I'm putting in a half of a measurement, half a teaspoon, 1 full teaspoon, and then I'm going to add some baking soda. Baking soda is what will make it spread. Baking powder and baking soda, the way to tell if it's fresh is put a little vinegar on a little teaspoon, and if it starts bubbling, you know it's still fresh. Because a lot of us right now probably have it in our pantry for probably 2-3 years, right? So, and the other thing is we're going to put salt in. Never leave the salt out. Always take the full amount. This is only a half teaspoon for a lot of muffins. Okay, the salt brings out all the other flavors. Okay, so with the mixing spoon, what I want to do is just mix this up really well. Get all those ingredients in really good. And then I'm going to use some unsalted butter. I'm using a half of a stick. This is very cold butter, okay? The colder the butter it is, what will happen is the dough will not be as sticky, okay? So, when you're at home and you're making this, put it in the freezer, and then you can always grate it right into here, okay? And it will come looking like almost like a shaved Parmesan cheese when you go in there, just like this. Okay, so we're just going to leave this to the side. I'm going to take my hands now, and what I want to do is mix the butter and all the flour ingredients together. Okay, when you grate it like that, it goes a lot quicker. Sometimes we can dice it, okay, or you can cut the butter into it. Okay. Okay. Just about all combined. Now these muffins, they bake in a 375 oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. They will not spill over in your oven, okay? They will only rise higher, okay? So never worry because it's a very thick batter. Okay, if everybody can see how that looks right now, okay? Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put in some caraway seeds. Caraway seeds you always want to store in an airtight jar and keep away from sunlight. That will maximize the shelf life. Okay, and you can always store them in the refrigerator. Going to add some of the raisins. These are jumbo raisins. I'm putting in a half cup. So putting in the half cup, if you put more in, raisins into a baked good, it tastes so good. But if you put too many in there, they're very dry. So what it really does is it absorbs the moisture. So it will take away from it. So the more raisins you have in there, the less moist it will be. Okay, so be very careful with that. Okay, just give that a good toss. Okay. I'm gonna put in some buttermilk. Buttermilk that I've bought from the store. You can make it yourself, and it's usually about 1 cup of the whole milk or the 2% milk, either one would be fine. And you could put 1 tablespoon of lemon juice or a tablespoon of vinegar in it. Let it sit 5 minutes, and what it does, it sours the milk. You could use that, but there is nothing like the store-bought because it is a lot thicker. Okay. Want to make sure it's a full cup. I don't want to go over or under. With baking, you want everything to be really exact. Just pour this in here. Okay. I'm just going to mix this up because what I want to do is I want to get rid of all the wet and all the dry ingredients. As soon as it is all mixed, I want to stop because over mixing batter can make it a little rubbery and almost like a little tough, the batter. Buttermilk that you buy in the store, if the date says on it March 1st and you had it in your refrigerator on the 14th, it is still very safe to drink. Not to drink, actually to bake with, okay, or to use in any type of recipe. Whether you're marinating chicken or something like that, that would be fine. So if everybody can see, it's a very thick batter. Kind of hold it up and kind of slowly let it drop so you can see what yours batter should look when you make these at home. Okay. You could take a little butter and wipe it inside here. You could put the little muffin liners, or you can spray it. I'm just going to give this a spray. One of the things with the spray whenever you're using this, don't go into each tin individually, because what will happen is you'll have a little puddle of the spray, and that will make your muffin greasy. You want to do a very quick spray, just like that. Okay. And then I'm just going to take some of this batter. I'm going to put it into the muffin tin. Now, this can make anywhere from 6 to 10 muffins. I really seem to like a nice hearty muffin, so I'd have one of these in the morning. So I actually make 6 out of this recipe. So if you're making the 6, you want to cook these for about 25 minutes. Okay, maybe even a few minutes longer. If you're making the 10 count, then I would make them for probably about 18 to 20 minutes. That would be good enough. Okay. Okay. Make sure they're all nice and even so that way they come out of the oven all at the same time. Okay, that is good. Alright, I'm just going to take these gloves off. Okay, one of the things that we do with the Irish soda bread or Irish soda bread muffins is we put a little cross in them. By putting a cross in them, a lot of people believe it's so it cooks evenly and all that, but in Ireland they feel it keeps the devil away. So that's what we're going to do with each one right here. Okay. Do that to every one. Now, you could take these raisins that are on top and kind of sink them into the batter a little bit. The reason I say to do that is because if the heat from up above really gets those raisins, it can almost it burns the raisins and it can give it an awful taste. So if you got a little knife, a little spoon, just kind of sink them into your batter, just like this. Okay. Now, when you're baking these in the oven, you're going to bake them towards the lower rack of the oven. You're going to take a sheet of aluminum foil and don't put it on top, but you want to put it on the rack above, because all of the air will circulate around and make these nice and golden brown. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to put these in the oven and come back in 20-25 minutes and we're going to see how they came out. Okay? So let's get ready. Hello everybody, I'm back. These just came out of the oven. They took about 25 minutes, maybe a minute or two more. And I made 6 of them, remember, so they're a nice big muffin. As you can see, look at the size of this, okay? Beautiful. One of these is very satisfying for a snack, breakfast, anything like that. Can you make this for Irish soda bread? The answer is really no. The reason is when I balanced this recipe out, it was too much baking powder to make the bread. Okay, so I have a different recipe for Irish soda bread that I'll share with you in the probably next March. Okay, when I'm doing this, I'll still be doing these probably live from my home, but I will be back at the library, and I hope really soon. Please stay in touch with the library. I'll send the recipes there as well. One of the other things, actually, I should say, is when you're baking Irish soda bread, always bake it on parchment paper or one of the silicone baking mats. Really protects the bottom from getting too dark. The muffins, again, don't spray it too much. Make sure that there's butter, okay, that you can wipe around the corners of it, but not too much, okay? You don't want them to come out greasy. You want to taste a nice Irish soda bread. People will say, are these moist, or is it like Irish soda bread? My answer to that is always, if you closed your eyes, you took a bite of this when it came out of the oven, you'd say it's the most delicious Irish soda bread I ever had in my life, okay? And I hope you feel that way. So everybody, thank you for joining me in my home. Thank you for coming to my first class at home, and I will be doing this a lot more. Please stay tuned at your library. Thank you. Bye-bye.